their first match here. Mind Freak Black is a good story, Clint. Tainted Minds, Mind Freak, they come in, obviously, the more from APAC comes through. They find themselves in bracket play. A very tough match, though, in round one.
But, yes, exactly. Do you give them a chance in this series, or are Mind Freak Black being sacrificed to the Optic Gaming gods in this first series?
I think Optic Gaming definitely, this is one they should take.
Well,
if this one were to be close, you definitely worry about them the rest of the weekend.
Think back to last year. We talked about the 2016 championship, and that you had Optic Gaming with the first round matchup against Envy, who's kind of considered the number one, number two team at that time. Very different scenario here for round one.
Oh, without a doubt. But that's why you work so hard throughout the year. You get a good seed. You come in. You take care of business in groups. You don't come out of groups with the number 2 seed. You give yourself the best chance to win these matches as we go into bracket play. But it's Mind Freak Black off the rip here with a lead against Optic Gaming.
Zeppa ended a 5 streak there. I think he fell a little bit short of streaks, but his spree, a big part of the reason you see Mind Freak Black enjoying an early advantage. Formal with some crispy shots with the ND4. He is 6-1, and statistically seems to be following up right where he left off from group play.
Yeah, he is in the top 6 in every game mode in terms of overall KD. See, he was number 1 in Hardpoint, number 3 in Uplink, number 6 in S&D. He's been a beast all weekend long. He was on a 5 streak there. He gets cut down. OG has taken the lead back. They have control of Cathedral. They need to win these first initial fights, though, on the rotation.
Well, here's going to come the hit from Mind Freak Black. 1 pushing through market, make that 2 actually, a couple inside a hotel lobby as well. The first 2 picks do go in. Scump now, a lot to do. Him and Formal have to make a play. Formal finds 1 before dropping. Scump's going to drop as well. And Swift Azor and company have broken through Cathedral quickly. Now, talk to me a little bit about Mind Freak Black, because I know Hopi and Swift Azor we saw a bit last year in the CWL League. Setsi, Zeppa, newer players, and they've been very impressive here this week.
Yeah, Hobie is really the one that kind of stands out for me. Captain of Chiefs Esports Club. He gets dropped at the beginning of the year, doesn't exactly know what's going on, can't really find a way onto Mind Freak or Tainted Minds. He ends up forming this roster here for Champs, the last part of the year, and they put together a very good run. Swift Azor is a very talented player as well. The 2 new guys, Zeppa and Setsi, don't really know too much about them, but you got to imagine, they go in, they pick the best that's left in the Australian region, and they're able to make a good team here going into Champs. They have played Optic very tough at the beginning.
So far, very strong from them. Optic able to snag the final 15 seconds in Cathedral. Now a tall order to break in a broken building. As the final 2 drop, it looks to be another early hold on one of your money hills for MF Black. The spawn coming out across bridge for Optic Gaming as they're going to have to look to break through. As well as I do, it takes a solid 15 to 20 seconds even to get into the gunfights to break into this hard point, and then you run into Zeppa, who's got key position here to deal with you. Setsi out front. The 2 young superstars for Mind Freak Black, they're going toe-to-toe with Optic Gaming right now.
Yeah, it's a big kill from Zeppa inside the hard point. He picks up that first one. It's going to buy them about 15 or so extra seconds. He picks up a second one there. Swift Azor coming in. He was able to get 1. Not going to be able to take out Formal or Karma, as they'll be the last few seconds going to Optic.
Exactly. It's the same thing as the last hardpoint, though, right? Yeah. Everything pretty much controlled from Mind Freak Black early. Optic Gaming breaks in with 10 to 15 seconds. And yes, Optic Gaming still very much in this. And we've seen huge swings on this particular map. And I think one thing worth mentioning for Optic is time and time again, we've seen them start slow in a hardpoint. Start slow in, kind of that game 1, and then erupt midway through. Curious to see if that'll be the story here.
And I think there also has to be, some things going in the back of their heads as well. They know they need to win this first game. A lot of pressure on these guys, and now the fans are in the building. You're playing on that main stage. They need to show up. They've accomplished everything as a team outside of winning the Call of Duty Championship. They need to get it done. They know the pressure. They know what's on the line. For these first games, you may just get the jitters out here and then smooth sailing, but Mind Freak Black still hanging in here, playing them tough. They have a lead at this moment in time, but Optic Gaming starting to make a comeback.
And the big thing for me is we get into our second set of rotations here shortly. The 2 money hills, when you talk about going from Cathedral all the way over to Broken, they were both dominated by Mind Freak Black. This time through, does Optic Gaming make adjustments, or are they able to take control? But first, let's get back to Bridge. A couple opening kills going to Mind Freak. Scump answering back, and Karma now trying to get there, but Karma going to be the lone man. Anything he can do to find kills and stay alive will be crucial. He gets one, but will be taken out. All but a tie game right now as Zepp is trying to hold here with FTL. Unfortunately, Crimsix has his number as he picks up 2. Formal gets one of the wall run, and Optic Gaming gets a crucial break.
They should be able to hold on to the rest of Bridge here. You see how far Mindfreak Black is spawning from the hill. And you know, Mindfreak Black obviously had a lead early in this game, but you looked at some of the numbers. They were not picking up a ton of kills. And if they do not kind of come alive in the slaying department, this is going to be one that Optic runs away with.
Well, this is what we were talking about. Are they going to pick it up midway through the game and start to dominate? This could be that position as we head to Lower Street. Controlling bike right now will be MF Black. Formal, though, with some nice shots again with the MB4. The rest of his teammates picking up kills as well, and he'll be the first one in. 19-8. A minute 49 to go in the hard point, and starting to build towards streaks as well. Formal has been an absolute phenom lately.
Yeah, with Lower Street just spawning up, you see Mindfreak Black trying to work their way through the hotel hallway all the way back towards that Cathedral spot side. They know they need that hill. It's going to be so necessary if they're going to go on and win this game. And see Hopi and Setzi picking up some kills. They're going to be able to get control of Lower Street. But look at where Optic spawns. They have control of Cathedral.
Oh, God. I was about to say, actually, Switches were one of the players from Mindfreak Black spawned in that back pocket by Cathedral, but then immediately 3 players from Optic spawned on the opposite side of Cathedral. So, well, 3-on-1 situation. That does not go well for the MF Black player. So there you go. It's a nice hold for Optic Gaming at Lower Street. They're going to be set up very nicely to make a play here at Cathedral. And if they fix their woes through the first set of rotations, they're going to end this game in the next 60 to 90 seconds.
Without a doubt. Scump, he's going to fall, but Formal, he picked up that first kill over in Market. Some nice range shots there from Formal as he has control of Cathedral. Mindfreak Black spawning so far away. This is where Optic can put the game away.
One of the things that's been so impressive about Formal to me lately, a lot of guys you see, they go vertical, and they jump, their shots get a little bit shakier. I swear, somehow he gets more accurate when he's actually applying any kind of advanced movement to these kills. He is on a tear right now, but will drop as he makes one shot. Will there be anybody there to clean it up? Scump and Karma finding kills. Karma eventually traded out, but now about to break the 220 mark is Optic Gaming. They can't win it on this hard point, but they will be so close to closing it out. Scump, great shots there with the K-bars. He finds 2.
And you got to think, Mindfreak Black, they're in the lead like 140, 133, and this second half of this game has been ugly. They have gotten just blown off the map.
Is it not exactly what I said earlier? Like Optic, how many times have we seen them start slow in the game 1 or in a hard point? Halfway through, they completely take over and dominate. They adjust, they get in a groove, and they just slaughter the opposition, and that's exactly what we've seen here. You still have Karma, I think, be able to make a play. Actually, he just dropped, so it will be a one-on-one in the hard point now. It's Formal. He FTL forward. He finds Setzi in the back. He's now inside. Game 1, Optic Gaming.
Tell you what, if he's playing like that this weekend, it's not going to be fun for a lot of other teams. We've seen some great individual performances so far at Champs, over the last few years. But if he kind of keeps on this tear, you got to imagine slows down a little bit. You get up against some of those better teams. But man, he is looking scary good right now.
And Formal, he took a little bit of flack from his teammates. They're actually saying he wasn't baiting hard enough. Like he wasn't sitting in the back and letting them fly in front and just pick up the easy kills. Just play slow. Be the guy that plays his life. He was getting a little bit too aggressive, crosshair hunting a couple of times, and it was hurting them, specifically in stage 2. It seems that he fixed that. What really stood out to me, if you watched group play the other day, I can't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday, but it was Precinct Cup League, the one he dropped 43. It looked like he was not being shot at times because they were just shooting at the rest of his teammates. He was sitting up there 3, 4, killing 3, 4. It was unbelievable to see. The guy's doing his job. His teammates are playing around him, and it's been special.
Yeah, you get some of his teammates to push up the map, be very aggressive. He sits a little bit further back. He's able to pick up those kills at range, and that is what he excels at, right? Just picking up those kills with the NB4. Just him and Octane, the 2 best at range. You expect Formal to dominate a lot of these matchups.
Well, I can't remember the exact statistic, but I remember it talked about the KD you have for your main NB4 player. How low percentage you had of actually winning maps when they were going negative. It's crucial because especially when they're dying in key roles, they're kind of the last line of defense. The less your main NB4 is dying, the better you're going to be doing. But Optic Gaming, 1-0 lead in this series. S&D on Crusher coming up next. And this has been Optic's specialty, right? Search and destroy. It's the exact opposite of the story from Champs last year.
Yeah, they were so poor in the game mode last year that really kind of ultimately becomes their downfall. Very good coming into this year. Game number 2 will be Crusher. They have an 80% win rate on that map. 12-3. So it's not like they're like 3-1 or something like that. They have a very good track record on this map. It's one they can be very aggressive. I know we see Krim a lot of the times now in Search and Destroy kind of goes off on these flanks. These solo missions, just kind of tells the guy, hey, buy me 20 seconds, buy me 15 seconds, I'll make a play. Krim has shown up big in the Search and Destroys. Look out for him in game number 2.
And also Karma, he's one of their more active players, key player for getting first bloods. And a lot of times if we see him get a first blood or even drop, the timing for him and Scump, whether it's on a map like Breakout and they're controlling outside showers, even on Crusher as you're sliding in towards that A site to make a play, it seems like whenever Karma goes in, whether he finds a kill or not, Scump is right behind him to trade it or find 2. They've been phenomenal there. But for Mindfreak Black, I know the thing is here with this matchup, it's going to be hard to speak much to them as far as taking games because they will be the heavy underdog in I don't care what map it is. I don't care what mode it is. There is no one that can make an argument to me that Mindfreak Black should win a particular map.
Naked will make a good argument. I think I saw him come in the crowd a little bit earlier, but no, I agree with you. I think they come into this map. This is the one team you don't want to draw coming out of groups, right? You would not have wanted Optic Gaming. Maybe you could kind of convince yourself. You can take some maps, make a series interesting, but with the way Optic has played, throughout stage 2, now into champs here through groups, they definitely look like the team to beat.
Certainly. Hard to argue, but here we go. Game 2, Optic Gaming versus Mindfreak Black as we continue in bracket play for the CWL Championship here in 2017. On board with Formal, and he's got the sniper.
See if he can find anything, but as soon as Optic, they start to run away, it's going to be Mindfreak able to push all the way through. One from Formal, trying to locate his second one. It's a wild challenge, but he has Scump there to help him out. Formal trying to locate the second shot, not able to connect. So we'll see how he plays.
Get some information, though, over the top. He had some good cover from his teammates there. They weren't able to push out the sniper. Karma, though, get caught from behind. Swiftazor with a kill. Setzi, last one left, and he's eliminated. First round, Optic Gaming.
We don't see it a lot from Formal anymore, but still, that sniper rifle can be so effective. Throw some teams off guard.
Think back to Ghost, like when he first started really competing.
All he did.
Literally the only thing he could do in Search and Destroy. He had not a clue in the world what was going on in the game mode when he first started competing in COD, but he could hit sniper shots.
But it was easy to game plan against him, right? You knew where he was going to play with the sniper rifle, so you just sent 2 or 3 bodies at him. He missed one shot, it was an easy kill, and just over the years, it's diversified the way he has played Search and Destroy. So now he's just not a sniper. Very talented player. Arguably one of the best in S&D now in the entire league.
Let's see what Mindfreak Black can do now that they've got control of the site. Setzi trying to deal with anyone pushing from the skywalk, but it looks like the hit's going to be coming in from you and the backside. Karma and Skunk, first 2 in. Crim6, though, with your first blood, 4v3 advantage here for Optic Gaming. Karma follows it up. Krim, a second kill in the round. Swiftazor, you're the last one running for his life. Nowhere to hide as Scump gets it. Back-to-back rounds to Optic Gaming. And Karma, so far, the only one to die.
Yeah, they have control of the site, Mindfreak Black, but there's no firepower on this roster. When Optic Gaming starts to run through them, there's not much they can do there. As Optic, they fly on in, they pick up the kills, they take that round.
2-0 Optic. Let's see. All right, if you're Mindfreak Black on this particular map, and obviously you're up against the wall, the green wall. What can you change? What can you do to try and get advantage here? Maybe start to pick them apart.
You need first bloods. You're not going to be able to win this and win rounds consistently, especially when the other team has 4 talented players like Optic has. If you're not able to get first blood at the beginning of the round, so I think that's huge to hear from Mindfreak Black.
Crim6 with the first blood in the last round. Not this time. First blood is Setzi able to pick up the 1v1. Now Formal and Scump caught between a rock and a hard place. Can they win the fight? So yes, Scump with a 2-piece there to keep them in this. As Karma is one shot, he will drop. Formal trying to turn this into a 1v1, but he's still got one on the flank, and there you go, a round for MF Black.
They get around on the board, and that first round's always the hardest to get when you kind of go up against a team that's just rolling on through the opponents those first rounds. Now they get one on the board, maybe they get another.
One round on the board. Trying to keep this close against who many consider the top team in the world right now. On offense now, Hopi, your bomb carrier. as they're going to look to hit towards the B site. There's one in the back, and he's going to be backed up. That was Karma just getting vision for a second, making the call for his teammates to rotate across. It looks like the defense plans to hit 3 behind the Scarab, and then Crimsix on the long flank. Scarab knows it's connect. You know it's connected. They plan to come on through.
Now Krim coming on this long flank. He's not able to pick anybody up, so it's going to be 2 kills. Make it 3 going in favor of Mindfreak Black. They get another round here, so 2 rounds in a row here for Mindfreak Black.
Well done. I mean, after the first couple of rounds where, I mean, you only have a handful of deaths for Optic Gaming, it looks like it's one of those, they made steamroll, right? You know, you have a 6-0, 6-1 game. MF Black wants nothing to do with it. They put together 2 rounds and now tie this up. I know historically, if you're going to upset a team when you are a heavy underdog, it is search and destroy. Unfortunately here, it's not a scenario like groups where maps count. You need series victories.
Looks like Optic all going to just hit this one site. You're going to lead the way with Formal with the NV4 in his hands as Mindfreak Black looking to push all the way through A. Trying to come on this flank through that mid-map. It's going to be all on Crimsix here. He's going to get one. And the follow-up's not there fast enough for Mindfreak Black. It's Hopi. He's able to take Krim out, but you need to be a little bit faster there for MF Black.
Well, they do have a 3 versus 3. Karma trying to hold off several. He's got Formal at the outside box to lay down fire as well. The 2-man hit about to hit. Formal trying to pick a direction to try and assist on. Scump does his job, finds 2. It ends. We don't see the final kill. We'll see it in the round-ending kill cam, but round 2 Optic Gaming. And a chaotic one there in the finish. So Formal does end up closing it down.
We'll see Formal in the final kill cam, but for MF Black, pleasantly surprised they're able to hang here in the search and destroy. This is the one game mode that's kind of been rock solid for Optic thus far. They're just able to blow people away, but Optic is actually very good at just making these mid-game adjustments, Clint. You know, when they're when they find themselves down or they just pick up on a tendency of the other team, they're great at taking advantage of it.
Well, talk to me. What do you think has been is that the biggest difference? Like, if we talked to last year, them being poor in search, and now them excelling in that game mode, what do you think's been the biggest thing?
Well, I think you're seeing Formal play better in search and destroy, and I think you know, over the last few weeks, and not in this game, you know, 1 and 6, but I think Karma has been a big player in search and destroy for this squad as well. So I think you've seen some good individual efforts, you know, very smart team play. I think they just kind of put everything together in search and destroy.
Right now, 3 versus 3. You see on the minimap is the hunt is on for Optic Gaming as they're all pushing around the backside of dirt. Basically opposite corners right now. It's MF Black now look to plant towards B. Should have the free plant. We'll see what the timing's like for Optic Gaming. Can they maybe catch them as this is getting planted? You'd have a 3v2 for a moment, but no, bomb gets down. A chance for MF Black to set up. It's going to be a bloodbath here quickly. Back and forth we go. Switches over the 2-piece there with the ERAD. Last man up is Formal. He does have FDL to work with. K-Bar in hand. 1 to his right, 1 to his left. He drops 3-3. Is MF Black continue to hang here and search and destroy?
And that is one where, you know, he gets in position with FTL. He picks up 1. We've seen him do it so many times. He's able to use that payload ability, you know, get behind another player, clutch those 1v2 situations.
And I know this is very much a David and Goliath type scenario. You know, Optic coming in as a heavy favorite. MF Black, you know, not many people thought they were going to be coming out of this, especially as the team from Australia. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, they would be considered the 3rd best team of the 3 that were actually in group play. They shock everyone. And now, hanging in this search and destroy, can they win it?
That's the difficult part, right? I mean, you can kind of hang in the game. It's closing out to take map number 2. Krim draws first blood. They have control of the site. This is Optic Gaming's round to lose, as we'll see Karma get bombed down. And MF Black doesn't want to push all the way through here because they're not sure there's a player in this back rock or in that back warehouse area. So going to be very cautious as they move on through towards that B site.
Scump able to go vertical over the first shed. They're throwing everything at him. There's a tactical also coming in with the Scarab, but Krem looking on the ace now. Give it to him. No! He gets him to 1 shot but can't finish. But it's Krem with the first blood. Krem with an X2. And finally his team picks up that final kill as the round goes to Optic Gaming. But that was all Crimsix there in round number 7.
He's been very good at getting first bloods for this roster. You'll see maybe down on the other side of things. They'll kind of let him roam around, search for a first blood. It's a lot harder, though, against some of these teams where they don't have as much experience, though, because you don't know what kind of strategies they like to do or, you know, what kind of corners they like to sit in. So just pay attention to hour number 2 on the minimap. Looks like Optic going to stack up in towards that A site. Challenge MF Black to come in there and try and win some fights.
Well, MF, I like this. They just hit it up through a mid. There's no presence as Optic Gaming stacked the site like you said. But now they're going to be pushing the back garage. Crimsix, a 4th first blood for him. Half the rounds, Krim finding the opening kill, and he is 7-5. He has been such a massive influence here in our Game 2 Crusher Search and Destroy.
Bomb is down. Optic does need to retake here, and I love this strat here from MF Black. They're going to catch Optic off guard as Hopey coming around that backside. He's able to get one. Scump with the reactive. Maybe use it this round to give yourself a big advantage, and here it comes.
Pops it. 1 second was weak. See, oh, he's actually able to win it. It's going to be Karma in a 1v1. Trying to chase down the weak Swiftazor. He gets to a close pocket. Can Karma win the gunfight? No! It's Swiftazor of MF Black taking the 1v1. Scratch that. Kind of a 1v2 in that scenario. Sick stuff.
Karma just needed to be there a little bit faster. If he follows Scump up right away, that is an easy kill. That is a round win for Optic Gaming. A big round, though, for MF Black. Clutch play there by Swiftazor, as now Optic does not have that reactive armor.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one where you're trying to bury a team, right? You use it in the 2v2, you're like, I got these kills. Scump gets melted in the second one. But you still have, what, FTL 4 formal. Crimsix gets away with his life as he is tagged. As you take a look at the minimap, there's no presence towards the B site for MF Black, but they have a 3-man hit now. Trying to work through mid. Optic, they decide not to plant this and push on through.
They're going to try and get a pick here first, because in that previous round, they kind of got caught in a situation pinched from MF Black. So they know that there may be one player playing in the back here, and they're able to find Hobie. So they get first blood. Crimsix inside, trying to locate Swiftazor. It'll be Swiftazor picking up a kill there, evening the odds at 3 players apiece.
Mind Freak kind of spread across the map, right? You got one at B, one at A, one watching mid. Now they're starting to group up a little bit. Optic, per usual, playing as a pack. 30 seconds on the round. Pressure on Optic to get this plant. Karma's going to go ahead and get it done. Having a slow start has also affected Karma, and getting towards that camo, he may likely never see it. You saw Scump burn the other key payload in reactive armor, whereas Swiftazor, he earns it in that round. Formal, though, able to pick up a kill. 3 versus 2 now. Swiftazor on the hunt, playing ring around the roads, but finally able to locate it. Melee to the back as 2 kills come through. Now 1v1. He's going to drop. It's Karma getting it done. He just clutched a couple rounds ago. I thought Swiftazor, maybe he pops that reactive. He's going to take that fight.
Well, it should have been a 2v1 in favor of Optic. I believe a team kill comes in there. Puts Karma in the 1v1 situation. Optic Gaming 1 round away from taking map number 2. Sad now. See what payload abilities both teams have to work with here. I believe Swiftazor's reactive. Yep, that's probably the biggest one on the board. You do have Formal with that FTL. So we'll see if he maybe uses this round, gets to an advantageous position, and makes something happen.
Swiftazor 10-5. He has been an absolute beast. And a big part of why you see them going toe-to-toe with Optic in the search and destroy.
I mean, maybe you get the bomb down inside, and you pop reactive, players flying at you. You're able to win 1 or 2 gunfights, but at that point you would love the ERAD in your hands, right? As opposed to something like the NV4.
Things slowing down as both teams fighting for information. Who is going to get this first blood?
Now both teams, I feel like, have just lost each other.
It's Crimsix again.
Going to Optic Gaming. And now you're really just relying on Swiftazor. He needs to make a play with that reactive armor. Needs to find some kills here.
Let's get to Swiftazor's POV if we can. There it goes. He's going to pop it, but is he going to find a kill? 1 snaps to his right, not going to get anything. Should be into the game for Optic. 4v2 advantage. Under 30 on the clock. 1 remaining. It's Hopey in a 1 versus 3. Surely, no hope for him. This should be done in a 2-0 advantage for Optic Gaming.
You pop that reactive, you just need to sit on the site. Hopey picks up 1. He will then fall. The defuse will come in. Optic Gaming will take map number 2, 6-4, go up 2-0 in our series.
look at it, I mean, the game one, close early, Optic took over. Game two, I mean, back and forth throughout, never really able to get more than a 2-round lead except for the opening 2-0. Mindfreak Black's playing them very, very tough.
They have. Optic, though, just taking care of business, winning game number 1, winning game number 2. They want to take this third game, get out of here, get rested, going into some serious games tomorrow.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, think about it. We have all our winners round 1 matches today and also our losers round 1. So if you get a win, you have the entire day, afternoon to chill by the pool, relax, talk strats, maybe get a scrim in, whatever, the teams decide to do, but just relieves a little bit of pressure. Whereas if you lose, you have another match today and a long climb through a 16-team double elimination bracket.
Well, especially because they've already played for 2 days as well, which usually they're not used to this long of play, and you get this win, then you can rest. It's just a huge advantage.
It certainly is, and despite the fact it has been close, again, Optic up 2-0 if you are just joining us. We've already had some crazy upsets today. I mean, I know for me, due to the pedigree of some of the players come champs time, I had Rise Nation going deep. They've already been upset. Well, somehow, maybe Mindfreak Black play spoiler to the dream run of Optic Gaming. It's all going to start with this uplink, and we will see it right after this quick commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is Optic Gaming versus Mindfreak Black, about to head into Game 3. Hello to you in attendance, you watching at home. We're excited for this next map, but it does not bode well for MF Black due to the fact that it is Frost Uplink, where Optic has been dominant.
Yeah, they are 12-1. 92% win percentage on this map.
That's
this is where,
since Dallas.
yeah, you can really get Scump going. It's going to be very difficult for MF Black. And you saw there, you got a glimpse of it at the bottom of the stage. Splyce playing like Splyce, up 2-0 here against Enigma 6. So, you know, a lot like how you see probably the rest of the day will go. Like the winner of these matches will play each other. Not today, but they will play tomorrow. So we could potentially see Optic Splyce round number 2.
And let's just talk about that. Let's say that is the matchup. And, you know, Splyce has I would say it's certainly, you could argue, a harder test than Enigma 6, first playing MF Black here for Optic. Do you think maybe does that give Splyce any kind of advantage going in tomorrow? Maybe a little bit more of a tune-up?
It's tough, because Splyce has been so up and down recently. You do not know which Splyce is going to show up. You do expect, though, I mean, you know, they've been practicing early, you know, at the pre-LAN, the EU pre-LAN, then they come in, they play pretty well in groups. You beat a good Enigma 6 team here today. A ton of confidence going into tomorrow.
All right, well, early slaying advantage to Optic Gaming behind Formal. Starting 3-0, make it 4. We'll see if he can get some streaks going. I don't think the NV4 is going to be in his hands too long, but you usually see it off the break. And you'll continue to see it until he dies. Pushing through, might be points coming in. Can they make the play? Toss is going back and forth. Zeppa still alive.
Karma, though, gets the reset there, so they kind of toss the drone back and forth. MF Black, a good opportunity to score at the beginning, and now they may not end up getting points for it. A few kills go in favor of Optic. Hopi, the only one alive, he falls. Now Optic will have drone control going in towards sub-bay.
Formal set up in the power position here in sub-bay. You see players soaring out in front, trying to get Bangle to help them out. First one, second one. Third will get the better of him. Crimsix still here. Will toss drone forward and get gun up for the next wave of spawners. Take that back, as he's going to get flanked pretty much immediately there by Hopi. And I mean, this has been a good opening 90 seconds for Mindfreak Black. I mean, any pressure we've seen towards an actual uplink has been from them.
Yeah, but now Optic starting to rally together some kills here. Clint, Formal, 10-2 at this moment in time. Scump going in for 1. He connects, able to take out Hopi. He gets in the MF Black base. Now this is where things get scary. MF Black gets to drone. They just move it further away. Don't give Optic the opportunity to rally these together.
Exactly. I mean, just getting the drone and pushing that out towards Cliff is huge, because when you get Scump in that position, that he's just locked in there, L-triggering towards Cryo, and you're spawning them out. If Optic had control of mid-map, that could have been a very ugly rally very quickly, but Scump still hunting on the Mindfreak Black side of the map. No one's winning a one-on-one with him right now. Streak up to 5 at 6-4. Falls 50 points short for Trinity Rockets.
Now MF Black is forced to just play so far in the back of their base. Crim with 1, Karma with another. Now they have a 1v2. This should be points here for Optic Gaming. Crim falls, Formal gets a 1-point throw off.
Is that the first time Formal scored with the drone in his career?
Only because he absolutely needed to.
I mean,
there's nobody else there.
I mean, it's a joke amongst the team. He does not pick up the drone very frequently, but they're able to flush it through. He's also 14-4.
Well, that's why he's not picking up the drone. It's because he's 15-4.
Yeah, I get it. It's very infrequent you see him scoring. Crimsix now with a 2-piece. 2-0 edge for Optic. 2 minutes to play. Drone now in Karma's hand as they're coming forward. Scump going to lose that 1v1, but has enough damage been done? The answer is yes. They're set up inside. The dunk is through, and Karma still inside the base, making plays.
And after the beginning of the game, you have not seen MF Black get any drone control. They haven't got any map control. Every shot we've seen of them has been on their own helipad as Optic Gaming is going in to put points on the board. And right now you have Hopi 2-11. This is what happens. I mean, when Optic Gaming, they punish you so bad. If somebody get off to a bad start, it's so difficult to make these comebacks. This will be another 2-point play from Optic Gaming. The lead goes up 6-0.
It's all 4 members doing it, but I mean, Formal obviously with 17 kills has been kind of opening the lane. Then Scump has gotten forward. He's been doing literal laps around like kind of their base, back into sub-bay, out through the doorway, just literally doing circles and killing from behind. But MF Black able to counter, get a dunk on the board. Now trailing by 4. They at least make this a little bit closer. Try and maybe make this deficit a little bit smaller heading into half. They've got a minute to work with, unfortunately for them. Drone in the hand of Optic Gaming.
Well, in uplink, I mean, you're going to need to get those 2 waves of kills to get the 2-point plays. And where are those kills coming from on the side of MF Black? I think that's really what you're worried about going forward. Scump disintegrates Zeppa there. This will be another 2-point play for OG.
I was going to say, Swift is a run for your life. Just get out of there.
Yeah, don't fight that. Just run. I mean, the way he's shooting right
Dear
now.
God.
Just mowing people down. Finally, his streak ends at, I believe, 6, but the damage is done here in the first half. Optic should hold on to this lead. May even try and put some more points up.
They have a chance. 8 of the clock. Karma with drone. Puts it down for a second. Who's going to try and pick it up and maybe make a play? I think Formal there. Scump there. Just narrowly misses, or I can't see if the clock maybe ticked right beforehand, but as it stands, big performance there from pretty much everybody on Optic Gaming to take control in the first half, and I think everyone pretty much expected a 3-0 here. It's looking like it's going to be a 3-0.
Optic controlling this game. MF Black. They need to come up big here in the second half. They need to pick up kills. Just who will step up? They're going to need multiple people to step up if they're going to get close. And just to give you guys an update, I know some of you guys at home who maybe not have the Bravo stream open, Splyce takes care of business. 3-0's Enigma 6.
Wow.
That is a commanding win there for Splyce.
My bracket I filled out is very screwed. Very, very bad.
None of it expected it to be any good anyway.
Scump continuing to hold forward, make plays. Formal with the dunk. He's got 5 in this.
Is that what you would tell them if you were the coach? Hold forward and make plays.
Yes, that's exactly what I would tell them.
It's a lot of detail you provide.
But I think, Formal in game 1, had most time at the hard point, also led in slang here. Points to go with the slang as well. There is a counter from MF Black to at least put one more on the board, but they still have a whole hell of a lot of work to do in the next 4 minutes.
When you're just picking up kills at the pace and rate that Optic is, it just makes things so much easier. Well, right now, Mindfreak Black, they get a point sub, but where are they going to rally? When they go back to mid-map, they're not able to win those other engagements, and Optic just takes the drone and map control right back.
And you would probably agree this is one of those scenarios where there's no amount of strategy or making the right plays from MF Black that I think can make up just for the slang prowess you have on this Optic Gaming team.
Yeah, look, you could have the best strats in the world. If you don't kill anybody, they don't mean anything. So I think, MF Black, they know how to play the game the right way. They made it out of groups. They just run into a team that is such a strong team in terms of slaying. It's difficult for them to kind of turn up the gears and get going. Scump there barely makes it through for a 2-point play, but see Krim now on a 5 streak. He's getting closer to score streaks.
We'll show Krim some love. I know we've seen a lot of Formal and Scump through this as they've been on a tear, but Scump right there, or Krim matching both of them. The streak up to 7 now. 50 off the bombardment. He's still got 3 minutes left to do damage. So he's snapping right now, almost able to 180 and pick one up inside of ice. A couple of players lining up for a Formal. Third wants the challenge. I don't recommend that. Wins another gunfight as he's up to 27 and 12. Streaks now coming in. They want to open up the way for points. Damaged one, I think, on the wall run and found a kill.
And if I was another team, Clint, I think the scariest part about watching Optic Gaming in this match is just throughout stage 2 in the groups is the play of Crimsix. Scump and Formal were going to play at that top level, but you always kind of went into the series, it's like, all right, if Krim doesn't play great, Karma doesn't play great, we can take this series. When Krim is playing like this, who knows who beats him?
I think there's Karma, he said it himself, he plays to win, he makes the plays to win. Crimsix, though, I think there are times where he needs to slay. He needs to play well. Not necessarily match Formal and Scump at all times, but he is the X factor. Yeah. When he's playing a little bit more selfish at times, rely on Karma to be that guy that's always playing to win, always making the smart plays, as the other 3 just wipe everybody off the map.
So, before Krim joins this team, we're talking about him as maybe the best player in Call of Duty. And then, that kind of conversation has gone away. It's been, Formal, Scump, Octane.
He's certainly in the conversation for all time, though.
Oh, definitely
maybe leading the way.
For all time, but you cannot forget it's that type of talent you got on this team. And I think you give Krim that kind of opening, like, hey, play your game, be more selfish. You'll see a lot of games like this.
Look at the just statistics across Formal, Krim, and Scump right now. Just the raw slang you have of them. Pretty much everybody double positive, all over the 30 kill mark. Not much you can do to combat that. Krim goes ahead, puts through the 1-point toss. It's a 15-3 advantage. If you're new to uplink, you can't score 12 times in 60 seconds. At least I don't think so.
I actually, when you said that, I was like trying to think. I was like, well, the drone drops. I mean, if you just kind of, you ran it uncontested for like a minute.
Somebody test that.
I think you could probably actually do it. I mean, especially if you have like an overdrive or something.
Yeah,
like,
unlimited
get a quick
overdrive.
one, but still, I mean, when the other team is playing like this, I mean, yeah, 35 and 18 from Scump, 33 and 18 from Crim, above 30 here for Formal. On the other side, I mean, you have the highest amount of kills is Zeppo with 22. I mean, there's nothing you can do to get towards that mid-map. Try and push those drones forward for more points.
Karma uses camo for fun. Just to use it at this point. 10 seconds remaining. Another monster streak. It's 8 right now for Scump. You saw Prim with a 7 streak. I think Form will hit that as well. 3, 2, 1. It's a hot 3-0 here for Optic Gaming.
Just come in today, take care of business, and that's exactly what Optic Gaming has done here. Completing a 3-0 sweep of MF Black. That'll set up a match against Splyce tomorrow.
And I know we don't know the exact updated statistic because I haven't run the numbers, but you bring it up a lot. When Optic Gaming, when they win in Winners Round 1, they basically always go on to win whatever tournament that is.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to cruise on through to at least, like, win or final after that. But I feel like that Splyce game tomorrow. Like, last year they had that test early with NV, like, didn't really have that here now. They coast through groups. That match against Splyce tomorrow is going to be huge. They need to show up in that match and really play with just a sense of urgency. Like, you can't have them come in and just kind of think it's going to be another game. I don't think they will. I think this has been a team that has been so focused since the minute we got here.
I do know that anytime I've talked to Scump of the guys kind of about maybe not who they fear playing, but who they see as their biggest adversaries. Luminosity was always mentioned over the past couple months. E United as well. They have never really feared Splyce, but that is going to be their matchup tomorrow. And like you said, you can't go into this. You have to have the right mentality.
Yeah.
But speaking of Scump, the king, the god, we got him on stage with Jack.
They're walking on through so far. Seth, 4 matches played. You guys really cruised through the group up to this point so far. Initial thoughts on the team this weekend?
I've been playing great. I think it's our hard point. We're finally starting to show like our old colors in that. So if we keep our S&D and uplink the exact same, it's going to be really tough to beat us this event. So I'm proud of the team.
Gotta be. Hey, 4-0 right now. You're obviously moving through that winner's bracket. Now, I just came up on stage and you said, oh, who won the other match? Because you're waiting to see who you would face in winners round 2. You thought it was going to be Enigma 6. It sounded like off the break. I told you Splyce just 3-0'd. How does that change your thoughts moving forward this weekend?
Both are great teams, You can't count out Splyce. You can't count out E6 ever. That's whenever it comes back to bite you. I thought E6 was going to take it, honestly, the way they've been looking throughout this whole weekend and past events, but it's champs. Anything can happen to champs. Whoever comes out hotter, anything can happen, but still Splyce is a very respectable team. So.
Well, we've already seen that so far today. Splyce will face them tomorrow. Final question for you here, Scump. This stage, this crowd, absolutely amazing, and it's just day 1. Thoughts on where competitive Call of Duty is now from when you used to compete and this stage itself?
I used to compete for $2,500 for first place, even sometimes less than that. So now I'm playing for $150 grand in front of all you lovely people. So it's unreal, and I can't wait to see, whenever the tournament progresses and the bigger matches, this place is going to be absolutely incredible. It's great.
Well, it's always great to see that. Scump from Optic Gaming, they just won their series. For now, though, we are going to throw it over to the analysts to break down that 3-0.
Thank you very much, Jack. Great to hear from Optic Gaming, Scump as well, of course. Joining myself in the studio for this, of course, we have Teep still with me, as well as Merc, former European professional player Momo, and of course, special guest for this one, Doug Sensormart, a 4-time Call of Duty champion. How are you enjoying champs?
It's great. I'm glad to be here right now. It's going to be against, all my friends, Joe, TP, Benson, Momo. You guys are all great people, and I'm happy to be here right now.
I really had a vision of you just not saying Momo. That would
I appreciate it. I got you, bro.
All good, all good. Of course, congratulations to Optic Gaming, a 3-0 victory, which let's be honest, I think many people expected coming into that series. We will break it down just a little bit because map number one was pretty interesting. Teep, I know you and Doug were watching this one. It started off very close. There was a time in the game where I believe it was 135 to 136, and we're kind of sat there going, hold on a minute, what's going on? Is winners round one curse, is it real? But, I mean, you see the final score there. It didn't end pretty.
I mean, yeah, it was tied getting into the later seconds of that first half right there, but the outslang potential was already there for Optic Gaming. You know one of those players is going to break open, get those streaks on a retaliation, just kind of a snowball effect from then on. So, it was tied. I think Mindfreak maybe got like 10 to 15 seconds after that point where it was tied, so not very close in that second half.
And you look at Formal's stat line there, Doug. I mean, it's pretty hard to win a map when you have a guy going 2.36 KD.
Well, we were talking about this when the cameras weren't on. We were saying who's the greatest player of all time. TB and I were saying Formal's up there in the conversation now. He's probably the greatest first-person shooter player I've ever seen. And he's making his case now. If he could win a ring this weekend, he could be the best of all time. And for Mindfreak Black, they're playing against a team of just the best team on paper. Crim6, Karma, Formal, and Scump. There's no team that's ever been assembled as good as this team.
See, this is where I'd love it. Teep was like, hold on a minute, show the ring. But yeah, even you kind of said, well, it's
talent-wise.
True.
Let's just be honest about it.
Legacy-wise, though, you still hold that. So
I'll take it. I'll take it while I still can.
Yeah, while you still can. That could be the key. Moving on to map number two. Obviously, before we went into that one, I said, this could be the one map where potentially Mindfreak take it. It was close. To be fair, Swift Azor drops a 1.67, goes 10 and 6. Interesting stat for you here, Merc. Crim, 5 first bloods, Optic Gaming win 4 of those rounds. You've mentioned it for the past couple of months. Crim playing on that kind of island role.
Yeah, and this is something that's developed more and more throughout the year. We saw Crim6 sort of take a back seat. Formal takes over that in-game leader role. Well, Crim, now he gets to be a bit more selfish, and now he gets to focus on himself. And I mean, before really this team, Crim6 was probably the best S&D player in the world. He was so tough to play against. He challenges those one-on-one gunfights, and he's so confident. That's why he has those 5 first bloods. So if you're an Optic fan, you're very happy with that stat line.
Very happy indeed. Then, of course, moving over to game number 3, it was Uplink, and this one wasn't very close at all. Team kind of as you expected. Finishes 15 to 3. Again, Formal, 1.83.
Triple 30 bomb. What are you going to do against it? One player almost getting towards 40. On the side of Mindfreak Black, I think they did a good job early on, keeping it close, scoring when they had the chance to. But, man, I don't even know what they got outslayed by on a team ratio. It wasn't very pretty at the end there. Crim running around, just wreaking havoc with that E-Red up towards that top blue. Just couldn't get him out of there.
Obviously, we mentioned, and you heard the casters mention it, over on the Bravo station, the Splice versus Enigma 6 game was going on. And obviously, Jack mentioned it. Well, Splice, they 3-0'd E6. I guess the big question remember for you is, was that a surprise?
I think you've got to say yes in a sense because, the past 2-3 months, Splice, they hit that kind of almost peak. You looked at, Anaheim, you look kind of at the Stage 1 playoffs, they took it, and they looked almost unstoppable, except maybe LG. And then suddenly, Splice started to have a few upsets, they started to go downhill and miss CWL Sheffield. And then, even through the groups here, they didn't look super, super strong. However, coming into this one, I will say, right off the get-go, I started to see that MVP-like performance from Zero. Bant as well, his kind of counterpart really kind of came in. And just throughout the whole series, it was a little one-sided, but I'm sure you guys, Merc and Teep, obviously yourself, and we were all there through Stage 1 and Stage 2. Proto, he had that slow start again in the respawns. It's not what you want to see.
Definitely not at all. Then, of course, just to talk a little bit about the search and destroy, Merc. Jared goes 16 and 6. We've kind of all been saying he is such an impactful player. That's the performance you need.
Yeah, Teep and I were just talking about it this morning. As we were getting ready for this show, we said someone else has to step up on Splice. We put so much pressure on Zero, so much pressure on Bant, those other 2 veterans. Where they at? And Jared says, don't worry, I'm right here. 16 Popperman. The most interesting thing from that game, I think Phil and I can touch on, is there were so many 1v1 situations, so many 1v2s. That last round from Splice, they clutch up on a 4v2. So if you're a Splice fan as well, this is a good sign because I thought personally E6 was going to take it, but if Splice were going to take it, I thought it was going to be a game 5, right? So this is a very good showing from them.
Just to touch on that 2v4 as well, the first 2 kills was Jared, FTLing out of there, all his team go down, and he picks up those last 2. It's a 2v4 ace from Jared. He finishes with a 2.32, 16 kills in Search and Destroy. like the guy said, they needed that one extra person to step it up, and a 3-0, like Scum said, for me it's a surprise.
Teams need to start watching out for Splyce. I think last year nobody thought they would get as far as they did. They added Madcat, who I believe is the best European player of all time. I think Madcat's one of the best players.
Yeah.
Their team on paper is probably one of the best European teams ever assembled, and I think they have a really good chance this weekend to go far.
Definitely do. Of course, they stage 1 champions for a reason, right? You expect to see these guys really put on a good performance, but recently their performances just haven't really been Splyce-like. But if there was a time to all of a sudden go back to that kind of stage 1 form team, it'd be right here.
And that's why it's scary. They have that potential, right? And I feel like there's certain players in the CWL where when they do play good, they have more of an impact. Jerd's definitely that player for them. When Jerd's having a good game, the game seems like a blowout. It seems so easy for everyone else. That's when Zero can be that MVP player with that MD4, just kind of hanging out in the back, pre-aiming, playing that slow style. So Splyce, if they can heat up here, get that momentum, well, they just got it with that 3-0. They look scary.
Obviously now we've had 4 games done and dusted to start off the day, so I want to see how that actually affects our winners bracket, our championship winners bracket. Of course, we'll see a couple of games have already been filled in. Optic Gaming versus Splyce. Woo. Okay.
I like that.
All right. That's definitely going to be a toasty one to start off
count
tomorrow.
Splyce out.
That's very, very true. And then, of course, FaZe versus Infused.
I don't know where to go with that.
Neither do I. Common sense would say, yeah, go with FaZe. But Infused 3-1 Rise, who 3-0'd LG with absolute dominance. We saw Infused search and destroy. It's unbelievable, Phil.
Yeah, Infused, I kind of look at, the likes of Mindfreak Black. Their S&D's been great all weekend long. But Infused has been this, almost, I wouldn't even say a dark horse, because no one's even looked at them as that. They've been completely ruled off. They were just a team here to kind of make up the numbers and maybe put out the players, the pool play. But these guys kind of making it through, and then early morning, they were here very, very early. They were warming up. We could see how much it meant to them. Not to discredit Rise, because Rise played fantastic in that game 1. I thought it was all over. I thought, Infused, this is embarrassing. And Ben, I can lean towards the Europeans a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Even I didn't have Infused winning that one. I thought Rise were coming in with a clean 3-0.
I mean, there's a potential for an all-European winners semi-final.
Stop it. Stop it, Ben.
I don't know about that.
You never know. If Splyce turn up, Infused, I mean, again, Joe, all they have to do really is steal a respawn. Obviously, Zoomer started very slow in that first half point. Probably not going to happen again tomorrow. Do you see it as a possibility?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I feel like there's just too much talent on FaZe. I think tomorrow FaZe is probably already scrimming, right? You have such a big gap between today and tomorrow. Teams like FaZe, teams like Optic, Splyce, probably even Infused, they're going to find scrim partners for the rest of the day. I mean, it's only 1 p.m. There's still a very long day. They're going to continue to get better. Again, this FaZe team, they're still very young, right? We know the expectations that they have. We know how much talent they get. They're going to continue to get better and better. So we'll just see if they hit it at the right time.
Definitely excited for some of those winners bracket round 2 games to kick off tomorrow. Still plenty of games to come today, though. Up next on Bravo is Ghost versus Cloud9. And this is an exciting one for me.
Nice.
Doug, I'm actually going to go ahead and just ask you this one, of course, Aches. A player that you've won a championship with in the past.
Yeah.
Why is he so good when it comes to Call of Duty World Championships?
Well, the thing about Pat is, now he's in a spot where he's not seen as a good player, or as at least one of the upper players. He really started slowing down after that AW event that we won. He stopped caring, and he's trying to get his way back up into the scene. And it used to be a time where Aches could just say, I want this guy, I want Formal, I want Krim, and everybody would just go to him. Now, he doesn't have that same situation for him. But he does always find a way to get a good placing at champs. He knows how to just rally his team together. He is a great captain, although he could get under my skin at times. Sometimes. You know what I'm talking about, Tyler.
I definitely do.
But Aches knows how to turn up at the right time, and if there's one person I'd have confidence in a world championship, it would be Pat.
And that's an interesting point. I'm glad you said that, because earlier on today, you actually said pretty much exactly that. Yes, Ghost on paper probably do look stronger than Cloud9, but there's something about Pat when it comes to
any other event. I'm taking Ghost in this matchup all day, but I think this is going to be one of the best matchups we see today just because of that. For whatever reason, I just feel like Cloud9's really going to step it up. Pat's going to be just that guy in this scenario. He's going to actually be that captain he should have been for the whole year, and he should be for years at a time. But for whatever reason, Pat just likes to save his energy. I don't know exactly what it is, but this is the situation he always thrives at. He loves playing the big name players and knocking them out.
True. I was with Pat last night, and I was talking to him for a couple of hours catching up, because it's been a long time since I've seen him. And one of his teammates, I think Adam, was coming back to the room. It was midnight. He's like, where have you been? He's like, oh, just talking to my friend. He's like, what are you doing? You need to go to sleep because we need to wake up. We're scrimming at 9 o'clock in the morning, so you need to wake up at 8. We're eating breakfast at 8:30. You're showering, being at the venue at 9 o'clock. He's like, I'm fine, Pat. He's like, no, you're not. You need to go to bed right now. And it was just really great to see because, like I was saying, in the past couple of years, Pat got a little bit more complacent, and it just seems every time he goes into a championship, it's all business. He has to win, and he's going to do everything he can to put his team in a position to win.
Of course, it is worth mentioning, though, that this matchup, there is a fair bit of a rivalry coming into it. Of course, Lacefield, now a member of Ghost Gaming, going up against his former Cloud9 squad, Merc. This could be a juicy one.
This is the reason why I picked Ghost Gaming. This man on your screen right now. I think he's an absolute beast. We saw him take over last year at COD Champs. You know, he was basically the reason that they won that Respawn versus Optic. He can take over games. We've seen more and more strategies from this Ghost Gaming team. He's the reason I'm picking Ghost over Cloud9.
Wow, fair enough. I am excited to see just how much damage Lacefield can do. And then, of course, on the flip side, Assault, another play that we need to give a little bit of love to. A very, very talented individual. Curious to see how much of an impact he is going to have on this matchup specifically. Of course, Assault, Lacefield, they kind of used to be that kind of old-school duo team.
Oh, yeah, most definitely the slaying duo going back to last year. But I feel like in this sort of matchup, it's going to be tough for Mox to play at the same level as Assault's going to, in my opinion. And then Mox, in these big, games, hasn't really had the best of performances. They had a drop-off when they were trying to qualify for the Pro League. Another scenario going back to stage 2 where they weren't able to clutch up on that Sunday. All they needed to do was win a couple of maps. It seems like every single time Ghost is put in sort of any sort of pressure,
right,
they just crumble.
I guess one thing for some of the newer viewers out there, because there are new viewers, of course, watching this event, Doug. What's it like when you're in kind of that rivalry match where you're sat on the main stage, you're playing against some of your old teammates? What goes through your mind?
Well, a lot goes through your mind, but the most important thing is winning. And you got to just block out all the outside noise. I know playing at Champs, it's definitely nerve-wracking, especially if it's your first time on the main stage. This is a huge venue. This is a beautiful venue. And I know I was playing with Mox in Black Ops 3 trying to qualify for Champs last year. And I think he's a really talented player, and I know you said he didn't show up when it mattered most, but the great thing about Call of Duty is that you always have another opportunity, and right now is the most important and the biggest moment in his career. So I'm going to be looking forward to seeing how he plays in this match.
Definitely needs to turn up, as you said, Doug. Potentially the biggest opportunity of your career here. You can really get some steam rolling, that is for sure. But of course, if you do want to watch that Ghost versus Cloud9 matchup, you can watch that over on the Bravo stream. For now, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2017 CWL Championship. Maven here, and I'm joined by a much different, much better looking, and much more humorous co-caster, and Jack Courage Dunlap.
Thank you. Mr. X really does suck. No, we're excited. It's going to be a fantastic match here. You look at this, and you think between these two teams, obviously, Josh on one side of the stage, the man that went up against Envy last year and fell just short in that grand final of the CWL Championships in 2016, looking for vengeance here to get start in this winner's bracket round 1.
Well, let's just talk about how crazy the past month has been. You know, a month ago you asked us who would take this matchup. I think anyone would have said Epsilon if you're talking maybe following Anaheim. Now,
yes, I hope so.
Yeah, but now you would view this as an upset for Epsilon, really, with the way Envy's been playing as of late.
Yes.
You know, they make it in the top 2 there at the Stage 2 playoffs, going up against Optic Gaming. What did they get at the tournament prior to last year? The one leading into champs, second place. What did they do at champs? They won it all.
Well, here we go, folks. It is Epsilon and Envy, an EU versus NA battle, and we're starting things off in Retaliation Hardpoint with Slasher, the undisputed MVP of Envy, especially in Stage 2.
Well, let's see what Slasher can do in this one. I know in Hardpoint in general, he was sitting at a top 5 coming out of pool play. Statistics were absolutely unreal, but you got to talk about 2-ring J-Cap. What does this man bring to the team? Could we possibly be putting a 3rd ring onto his hand at the end of the weekend?
I can tell you one thing. The battle between Karma and J-Cap to see who can get that 3rd ring first is something on a lot of people's mind. But right now it is Epsilon at a narrow lead. A lot of that came in part to cutting down Slasher early on. That big NV4 of Envy was nowhere to be found off the break of this map. Nice little pinch here developing by Hawkey and crew. And Hawkey's a player that you see right here, 4-1, an explosive start from him. But there's other maps, Maven, that we've casted, and it's like he's not even playing.
Exactly. I think that was the thing that really stood out for Epsilon, their struggles during Stage 2. Dave seemed to be the only person that could consistently slay, right? Like, there was no one that you could rely on to be there with him. Yes, Josh would go off at times. Hawkey, okay, take it back. Josh would not usually go off. Hawkey would go off at times. Vortex would go off at times. They definitely need some consistent support for Dave.
Well, right now, Dave is most certainly getting it with Hawkey on this team. Vortex struggling a little bit off the break. Envy on the rotation. They did get here first, but when you don't get any kills to show for it, it's a lot tougher to hold down a hard point. They've now spotted the final 2 players. Hawkey playing his life, waiting for some help. It should be a quick cleanup here, but now Envy are going to get back here in time. This should be a hold for the boys in blue.
Unless Hawkey can make some magic happen with the pistol K-bar combo, but they are back in. He's the low man here, waiting on teammates. Okay, that magic might absolutely be happening. That's 3 in a row with the pistol. Hawkey 7-2. No, put it away. Put the NV4 away.
Yeah.
Bring the pistol back out, for God's sake.
Imagine, as now he'll just try to stay alive for the moment. Lead back in favor of Epsilon, but again, the big thing to note, we talk about rotations all the time in Hardpoint. That's when the hill runs out. You see that clock hit 0 at the top of your map. A new hardpoint spawns. Epsilon are the team here in control of that new hill. 56-36 currently the score. Epsilon taking a larger lead.
And Slasher takes out Dave, and Apathy picks up a kill as well. You have a timing here where you can collapse from a 2-pronged attack. Slasher gets in through Market. 2 are coming in from Bridge, and they have broken through cleanly onto Epsilon. And I think that Slasher-Dave battle is going to be a really big one for this. I mean, this is the map Dave has taken over. This is the map Slasher has taken over. If you think back to Stage 2 playoffs, Slasher turned Enable inside out from FaZe on this. I think he held him to something like 9 kills.
Yeah, and honestly, Slasher is one of the better ARs in the game. We talk about him really in that top 3, maybe even top 2 scenario right there with the likes of Formal and Octane. Dave, who has been one of the kind of breakout AR stars, especially in the European region, our question with him is, can he consistently hang with the best? If Epsilon are going to make big moves, especially in this winner's bracket, he's going to have to. Right now, we're on his perspective. He's currently 7-6, 0 seconds in the hard point. Is he someone that likes to slay around the hill?
And, you know, talking about Europe's success kind of at champs last year, you know, you have Fob get 4th, which is sort of your Epsilon team now. Splice comes in 2nd. And already coming into this year, I know you have less teams that made it into bracket play from Europe. But look at, you already have infused upsetting Rise Nation.
Yep.
Maybe Epsilon now being able to take out Envy with a hot streak. It's interesting to see how that develops.
And I'm sure Epsilon know their brethren in Splice already 3-0'd Enigma 6. So
very true.
They've been kind of in the talk of who's the best EU team for the last 5-6 months. That's also in the back of their head. Right now, they're up by 40. They're trying to hold off this envious push, and it looks like they're going to do just that.
Well, Vortex right now on a 4 streak, trying to find that 5th and get ever closer to those crucial streaks in Trinity Rocket and Bombardment. Can he tack anything on? He gets the kill. Plus the point, he doesn't get the points in the hard point, so he will fall just a little bit short but doesn't matter. They're racking up the time. They're about to be doubling up their opponents. Great start here from Epsilon.
And Envy right now, they get a tough map draw here off the break. Retaliation Hardpoint since Dallas has been their worst. They've only won 44% of them, a total map count of 7 and 9 overall. Something that they obviously need to improve upon, showing their weaknesses here in the game mode. Right now, it just seems like they're playing at a much slower pace than Epsilon.
Well, think about how odd Envy was. You look into their, group play, right? They were not lights out in Hardpoint. I think they went 8-2, struggled in Search and Destroy. You go to Stage 2 playoffs, they can barely manage to win Hardpoint, but dominate in Search. It's like any given weekend, what is Envy going to be good at? I have no idea.
It wasn't like LG, where we could say LG are going to be bad at Search and good at the other two game modes. Envy just flip-flop no matter what day it is. Right now, still down by 50. Vortex has begun to turn things up at 13 and 9. Still has that Scarab, and FTL jumps some shaky shots there as Slasher rips him in two.
Yeah, that's not a guy you can have shaky shots against. As you see, Slasher beaming right now. 4 down for Epsilon. They're all coming off and spawn. And look at that number 6 on the minimap. That's Apathy, who's already pushed all the way to the top side.
Look at this for Envy.
Pincher them. This is perfect from Envy.
9 straight kills now for the boys in blue. Slasher still on a streak as well, and this is where things can get scary. Envy now fully set up for this new hard point. Epsilon still super far away on the map. They're slowly rotating because they just got pinched twice in a row. Here comes 3 free kills for Slasher. He's only able to get 1. But Envy, that 60-second lead we saw for Epsilon, now down to just 10 as they continue to chip away.
Disappears, and they're still here making plays. 2 kills for JCap. He'll finally fall. John's still here, but needs to wait on some support. 2 teammates now rallying with him. They're trying to play behind a Scarab. Does it connect? The answer is yes. There's 2 one-shot players in the back, and John's going to be able to get both. This should be a break for Envy, but there is still hockey here to deal with. Never mind. JCap slices him down.
Love that use of the Scarab. It's got cover behind those vehicles where basically it can just pop out, get those 2 players 1 shot. It's an easy call out for John to follow on up. That's why Envy were able to charge back in even at a number disadvantage. 133 to 123. Last time we rotated towards bottom bike, it was Envy in early control, but Epsilon got the kills to take the lead.
Well, John just won a nice 1v1. You saw it maybe on the minimap in the kill feed, but he took somebody out in our next hard point, so he's going to be set up in lower street and looking to see maybe our first lead change in quite some time if Envy can fight through, but nope. Hockey and Vortex, they want nothing to do with it. They break in, and now you can see on the right side of the map, Envy spawning in as they're trying to push across.
This is the exact same scenario from the first rotation, Maven. It just seems like Epsilon win the gunfights they need to, especially here at bottom bike. We saw Hockey do some big things with the pistol the first time around. Right now, he's got nothing to worry about. It looks like Envy will finally begin to challenge. He's playing this cheeky spot in the tree. He doesn't spot him. Vortex with 3, and just like that, Envy's pushes forward.
Let's go to Vortex. He just got a 3-piece. He's got 5 kills in a row. I want to see streaks. Okay, so he's 250 now off the Trinity Rocket, and he's in a key position here, locking down Hotel as they're trying to push through. This should be easy pickings for him, as he'll be set up on cover with players sprinting towards him.
Yeah, every single kill he gets right now will force those spawns out for Envy. Reads John like a book. Now a 7 streak for Vortex, 22 and 13, and he's still okay, getting a little bit ahead of himself there, but still, he's locked down middle map. Look at how spread Envy are. They're on a 1-man push right now. Easy kills for Josh and Hockey. Epsilon now up by 60 yet again.
I know he didn't get that kill, but the assist was enough to get him through towards the Trinity Rocket. I think that's the first streaks we've got in.
I love this.
First major streak. Scarab out, Trinity out. What do you love about it, Jack?
40 seconds left on this hill. Why not just use it and guarantee your team to lock this down? Envy have not had a single 4-man push for the last 2 minutes. Now on a combined 12 streak, he's going for his 9th kill by himself. What was the score going into bottom bike? 145 to 135? Now 215 to 139. Epsilon have turned things up. Oh my gosh.
Taking over as Vortex, 25 and 13. A 10 streak, still a bombardment to work with. He is annihilating Envy right now.
Is he invisible?
Do you guys know he's on the map?
Finally.
Thank you.
Don't worry, they got him. We only let up 100 seconds, I think is what JCap just said to the team. The largest lead now of the game for Epsilon. Again, we can't stress it enough. Envy's weakest hardpoint map dating all the way back to Dallas. Remember, this is a full season we've had here in the CWL. This is the final event. As Envy, this has been their weakness 6 months ago and now even to this point.
Well, looking forward across the series, I mean, does it get any better for them? We'll have to talk about the statistics when we look at Search and Destroy and also the uplink. Epsilon may be able to close here. JCap's going to be the only man alive. 2 players now pinching in. JCap will see you later. This should be it. Envy has 1 more crack at it, but the streaks are in. Josh now calling them in. Nothing you can do if you're Envy. They might get 1 final contest. They actually do break through. All right, so there we go. 4 down. They're going to live to see another hard point. But you got to think, with this much of a lead and only 7 points, this would be one of the better comebacks we've ever seen.
Can you name one hill that NV have gotten an early setup established that they've held for longer than 20 seconds? I can't think of one so far this entire map.
Me either. Maybe bridge the second time through.
Yeah, right? And that was mainly due in part to a nice streak put together. But right now, Epsilon, 245 to 185. Just need 5 more seconds in this hill. NV need to be perfect. Their best case scenario is Apathy or Slasher earn some streaks here and they can hold till this top bridge.
Hey, we know they've done some crazy comebacks. I won't forget that throwback against Luminosity they came back on. They need similar magic here, but now 2 are down. 2 ticks needed for Epsilon. Game 1 goes to Europe.
EU is showing up at another champs when they need to. We saw the likes of Infuse earlier on, take down Rise Nation, Splice 3-0 Enigma 6, and now Epsilon strike first against our Call of Duty World League champions from 2016, Envy.
Well, you know, gamers don't like to wake up early. It's what? It's 10 a.m. here on the East Coast. If you're European, it's something like 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been here for almost 2 weeks now. I don't think that's how jet lag works.
I don't know how it works.
Trust me, I know.
You know how bad I get when I travel.
Yeah, you're terrible.
Like slobbering on myself halfway through the day.
That's actually completely normal. But I do want to point out to everybody at home, make sure you guys are tuned into both streams currently going on the Bravo stage. Is the match between Ghost Gaming and Cloud9. You see Ghost on the bottom side of that main stage right there, up 1-0, beating them in that map 1 hardpoint. The winner of that match will face the winner of this match. And yes, oh no, I'm physically attracted to this main stage.
Absolutely beautiful. But now, so we're going to be heading into...
You didn't even acknowledge that.
Heading into Crusher. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Producer was talking to me as well. I didn't hear a word you said.
That's fine. Good. You probably shouldn't have. Either way, yes, we will be going to Crusher Search and Destroy up next. A map that sometimes feels like you can just flip a coin on it, and it comes down to those 4v4, takes of a site. A lot of teams like to play their crosses, get information, and then go for a full-man retake and just hope they can trade more efficiently. I'm wondering who can come out on top here. I know you want to look at the stats. This is NV's weakest search and destroy, but it's nothing special for the side of Epsilon as well.
All right, so both, exact same percentage actually, right? 38% for both teams.
Yep.
So, yeah, not pretty for either. This should be interesting as we get into it. Again, NV has been so up and down, in particular with search and destroy as of late. It looked lights out at times. It looked like they were desperate to win a map a week prior to that. They fixed a lot of that. I mean, most recently, though, they were good at Stage 2 playoffs. It was just a week and a half ago. They've got a lot of scrims in since then.
These guys have been grinding. Simple as that. I don't know if you guys have checked it out yet. Be sure to go find them on the MLG website. The new Recon series being put out right now, showing the in-depth behind the scenes for these players up to day 2 already of champs. So literally yesterday, there's already the new pieces out. You get to see the live reactions, the behind the scenes of these guys. Envy, a team being profiled there. A lot of it focusing on the likes of Slasher, of John. You get some JCap in there as well. Go give those a watch because you can see them start from their, Envy headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now to this point here, seeing their ups and downs as a team, what they've been trying to improve upon.
Oh, yeah, if you haven't, you need to watch them because I think John struggles to wake up from before 2 p.m. from what I saw in those videos.
And as you mentioned, what they were probably here at 9:30 in the venue. I mean,
very early for John.
It comes into play. Trust me. Here we go, though. Map number 2, loading on up. Envy down 0-1 after a frustrating map 1. Vortex absolutely dominated that game for the side of Epsilon. What can Envy do to bounce back? Do we see a sniper here from John off the break, Maven?
I think we do, and I mean, the only person I'm worried about, though, is Slasher. Slasher was so good in Search and Destroy. Okay, he was good in every single game mode, but specifically on Crusher, how many times did we see him dominate? He got, 2 camos, I think 2 different times on Crusher?
Yeah.
Slasher needs to be a hero here for Envy.
Well, already, look. You see 2 players from Epsilon go towards that A site. They try to see whatever they can. They spot nothing, so they early rotate. And Vortex playing up, they normally don't expect this. I love this play from Epsilon. They're going to try to follow it up as well. Okay, that just happened as now it's a 1 versus 2. Dave by himself, and what looked like a flawless round from Epsilon literally collapses in front of our eyes.
Like Vortex got a little bit too excited behind those 2 kills. Takes a dip off the map. But it does look like he's picking up right where he left off in that game 1 hardpoint. He was an absolute machine.
Well, I mean, that's what I love, right? That shows me that they've done some research on Envy. If they spot no pre-nades today, if they spot nothing at that middle 18-wheeler, then they immediately expect the push towards B. You even saw the pre-fire from the back rock with the NV4. Unfortunate for Epsilon there as they do drop that first round as they got the first 2 bloods.
Let's see how things work out on offense for them. You watch John on defense, kind of watching the mid-cross.
Yep.
So if you watch that number 3, immediately switches and sees if he's trying to see if they're going to push through rocks here. How does Epsilon play this? Slasher knows they're not pushing through, checks it with a nade, basically knows bomb's being planted now. It'll go through. Now they have to wait for these nades, and then they can pounce and attack.
Well, here it goes. Josh already soaring on through. Vortex is going to charge at Envy, feeling confident right now. 2 versus 2. Now a 1-on-2. Slasher all by himself. He's been spotted. Should be cleaned up here momentarily. Yeah, there it goes. Epsilon, nice job there. You see the frustration on Slasher's face. I gotta say, so far Vortex playing aggressive in that underpass area, catching Envy off guard 2 rounds in a row.
Exactly. Typically how that goes, you know, once the 4 people rotate on defense, they wait for the grenades to come through, and then maybe 2 people slide in and try to make a play. You're not used to Vortex coming sliding at you and flying in.
I think a lot of it comes down to the confidence in his teammates. Right there, his teammate peeked that outer lane, drew the attention from Envy over. They tossed in a couple tacticals, and he followed it up and went soaring on in. Since he's also the active camo player, he's got that rear guard to soak an extra bullet if he's getting shot from behind. Smart play from him to, again, swing the tide in his team's favor. There's that pre-fire I was talking about from round 1. Look at your minimap. Everyone's stacked here from Epsilon. They're ready for this B push.
Push comes in. JCap with the first pick. Dave trying to turn the tides. Nice shots there, but Slasher in behind. Slasher, 1v2 last round. 1v2 this time. Now in a 1v1 quickly, but Josh there to trade it out. What's going wrong for Envy here?
When I talk about flipping a coin, that's an example of it, right? It's strictly just playing the trades a little bit faster, a little bit better. You see there, Slasher already weak. It's the easiest kill you can get for Josh, but you asked me what was really going wrong for Envy. I think it's less what's going wrong for Envy and more just Epsilon being prepared.
Okay.
They see nothing in middle and A again. They early rotate. Instead of playing 4-man retakes, they play 4-man holds in the site and force Envy to push their pre-aimed weapons.
Dave, your camo player, about halfway there. He also has a Scarab to work with. Just trying to wait and see if they can catch maybe an overzealous Team Envious if they opt to push through. Josh has already flirted through you.
Oh yeah, he's
first
flirting.
engagement.
He's flirting.
Wins it. Well, not flirting with John.
Damn,
John
John,
is
you looking
dead.
good today. That's a free kill. Okay, Slasher.
It's Poison Ivy from Batman.
It's now
The flirting will kill. You've probably never seen Batman, have you?
I haven't. You're 15 years older than me, I'm pretty sure. So.
Yeah, those were out before you were alive.
Exactly.
George Clooney Batmans.
I didn't even know George Clooney was Batman. All I can
Was that
get
Michael
Superman
Keaton? I don't know. I get confused pretty frequently.
Okay. Can I move on?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. Epsilon up 3-1. They smoked through that round as well. Again, look at the aggression they're putting onto Envy. They are not afraid. They're playing with confidence, and I love it. I think that is kind of established from that first map of domination there in Hardpoint.
Well, let's see. Can Slasher get a fortunate timing here? His teammates picking it up. He needs to be there to get the trade. Shouldn't do it. Nice shots. Quickly. Hockey left by himself. He got vision on several. I don't know that he was spotted. Now he will be. First gunfight, tags him, gets him 1 shot, gets 2 players 1 shot, but pretty much an unwinnable situation there.
When you talked to me just as the map was loading up about Crusher, Search, and Destroy, and I said playing crosses, playing for information, Epsilon have been doing a better job of that so far this map, but finally Envy changed things up. They have Slasher go and watch out for the A push through, and because he spots players playing aggressive through that middle U tunnel, he calls the rest of his team to fall back, and they get a 4v3 collapse onto Envy at that 18-wheeler. Or onto Epsilon, sorry.
Epsilon up 3-2. Josh leading the way at 5-3. John, we were talking about his position earlier. He's just a peak mid-map, gets some information to his teammates. He knows he's given up you, so you'll see the players from Envy start to back out there as they know the site certainly dangerous. It looks like they just want to hit together through mid. So they're going to bring the action to mid. Back down Hockey immediately. Josh is still here. Josh can't get the first blood. That's all based off information John got earlier in the round.
Yeah, and Hockey now, he's got to play a little bit more passively. He doesn't have that NV4 to challenge. First blood now for Envy. This is, again, another great scenario for them. 2 rounds in a row. They're going to look to pinch from every single area. I absolutely love this. There's not enough people to watch every single door. Envy know that. This round is done.
Vortex has been special the first few games, but I don't think this is winnable, and I believe he feels the same way. We'll see you later.
So he's going to jump off here. Doesn't want to give the free kill to Envy. Again, in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, the combat rig payload abilities can be the difference maker, especially as this game goes on. You know, as this moves into round 10, round 11, that 1 kill, if they kill Vortex right there, earn those extra points, could give them a payload that now they might not earn because they're missing out on that 100 score.
Very true, Jack. All right, tied up at 3-3. If you're just joining us, Epsilon takes the retaliation hard point, looking to increase their advantage in this best of 5. We are in winners bracket round 1. Still so much action this weekend.
JCap's got to get away. No tack mask. So he gets hit by that grenade and forced out of position. Josh falling on back. Envy looking to develop towards this inside A site. They've taken control of it. Scarab now being called in by Dave. Let's see what information he can get for his team.
He's tagged several, I think, so they're going to try and play behind it. You think there's 2 one-shots there with the Scarab. Unfortunately, JCap not tagged, holding behind the box. He gets an easy first blood. John follows it up. What can Dave and Hockey do here?
They're baiting the sights now. Envy, they're all going to decide to push on through. Overwhelm this one player. This is what Envy... You're watching a team adapt and improve as the map goes on.
I think that was a definition of overwhelmed. You see his, he spasmed. Looks left, looks right. They're just flying as a 4-man group. Back-to-back rounds here for Envious.
Instead of fighting 2 2v1s, they fight a 4v1 and then another 4v1. Finally, Envy catching their breath here. And what's the difference we've seen from the first rounds of this game to this? They've moved away from that outside site. Play areas where they can develop the map a little bit more, play a little bit more methodical, don't get in hectic 4v4 trades. I think that's where they expect Epsilon to have a better chance to win the rounds, and so far they've moved away from it and they're 3 for 3.
Oh, the only payload currently in the game is John, sitting at 6 and 3. You talked about Envious success at the inner bomb site. Epsilon wants to take the action back to where they found early success. Towards B, JCap tags, trying to back up with his life, slowing him down there with nades. Everybody tossing whatever they have here.
They force him on the site, so no plant yet, but okay. Hockey gets 2 at once. Josh is there, and now everyone from Epsilon will steamroll through. Wow, it's almost like Epsilon are a much better team at playing at that B site.
But now you put the control back to Indy, right? Now they have the option to take it to the inner site. You kind of feel like it's going around 11, though, if it goes this way.
It just goes to show how, offense, we've always talked so strong on defense in Search and Destroy in previous Call of Duty titles. Here in Infinite Warfare, we've seen a lot more success for offense, whether being able to play for fast plants and go for a post-plant position, or an example, they are having the option to go towards a site of your choice. It looks like Envy will challenge towards B. They are playing with Slasher watching over middle map. Hockey will spot this out for his team. Let's see how fast those red arrows on the mini-map move.
Is John going to jump over? And I thought he might FTL to the back. No, okay, not making that play.
No,
they have pushed him back in the hangar. He sees everybody FTLs, tries to challenge the first. He's going to die, though, immediately. He needs the support. The support is there. Nice shot from Cap. 2 for him. Hockey now by himself. He got a nice 2-piece to start this.
Yep.
The previous round, but...
they fight fire with fire, right? 1 versus 3. This is hopeless. It's now Hockey. The end should be near. Charging on through. There he goes. Envy now 1 round away from tying up this match. This is why we were all excited for Envy Epsilon, right? This is one that we absolutely thought would be close, could absolutely go the distance, and it's showing that up to this point.
And I know it's not a huge deal because they're doing what they should do, but I mean, speaking to Envy, at least whenever they've had like 4v2s, 3v1s, any advantageous positions, they've never let them get scary, right? Like they've just handled business. Where we see teams give those up, and that could be where the tide turns in a lot of S&Ds. Every time they've needed to take care of it, they do.
Well, here's the big thing now. See that in the bottom right? That's active camo. Slasher now with his payload, the strongest in Search and Destroy, can use that in so many different ways to ensure Envy wins this game.
Is he going to be ready for the push? Spots him, gets him to half health. He has a second player here with him, looking to cook this grenade. 2 go in. He's crossed to the right side over the higher wall run.
They want to overwhelm. I think they want to overwhelm Josh. They know they hit him with the tactical. Do they realize the pinch is now developing? Yeah, Apathy's going to be here. Gets first blood onto Dave. Absolutely huge. They're trying to follow it up with Vortex. He's dead as well. Envy looking to close the door here in round 10.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Slasher, if you need to use the camo and just ice this game, do it. Josh. Hockey, the 2
That's bomb
remaining
down.
Epsilon. Bomb is down. Ice shots from Josh. Can't get away with his life. Last one, Hockey. Slasher. Pop the camo. He's hunting him. Unfortunately, he hunts the wrong side. They're still alive. There's so little time on the clock. Oh, you finish that kill. Maybe you've got a chance of some kind, but where the bomb is, man.
Look at the clock.
Yeah.
20 seconds. There's 1. Not going to be enough. Envious. Take map number 2 at a scoreline of 6-4. It was shaky at the beginning, but once they found control of the map, played at a little bit more slower pace, things went in their favor. I will say the win condition for that round was that flank that was coming through B that Slasher spotted. But you saw once he got that player in his sight lines, they were like, well, we got to try to force something to happen because that was our only chance.
It was a great play because, I mean, it's like as soon as you said we thought they were going to push through and hit Josh, they wrap back immediately and deal with the flankers. It's fantastic from Envy. So we're tied up now 1-1 in a series that we expected would be close. I mean, we know how high the highs are for both these teams. We certainly know how low the lows can be. I mean, Envy, this is a team that we're talking a month ago had their lowest placing as an organization ever. They're also the first team to ever win a Call of Duty championship and have the same roster into a second a full year later. I don't know. I don't understand this Envy team half the time, but they're a pleasure to watch and cast.
They're trying to defend this title. A chip on their shoulder. Again, cannot stress enough. This main stage, there's 4 teams up there. The top half, Envy versus Epsilon. The bottom side of that main stage, Cloud9 versus Ghost Gaming. Both of these teams tied 1-1. Get both of those streams open for the folks here in the venue. You can watch both. An incredible setup here. The Bravo action as well as the Alpha action all set up. Maven, again, for everybody at home, the winners of these 2 series go on to face each other in Winners Bracket Round 2.
They absolutely do, and we're excited for the Game 3. It's Uplink on Frost. We'll be back after this quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, welcome back. It's Winners Bracket Round 1 of the 2017 Call of Duty World League Championship. We're at the Amway Center, Orlando, Florida. It's humid, it's hot, but it's fun.
It most certainly is, and we're ready to get into game number 3. 2 major matches going on to Winners Bracket Round 1 series. The winners of these 2 series on the main stage will face each other tomorrow. The match we're currently watching on Alpha between Envy and Epsilon, the battle of our Call of Duty World League champions in 2016. Envy up against Josh and crew. If you remember, Josh was on that Splice team that challenged them, the highest placing European Call of Duty team ever. in history at a Call of Duty Championship event.
And on the other side, if you're envying, you're looking for the first back-to-back championship. Cap to be the first person with 3 rings.
3 rings. That would be back-to-back-to-back championships.
That's right, back-to-back-to-back. Sorry, first was back-to-back-to-back. He would have won every single Jetpack con. Jet Cap.
He is a jetpacker, most certainly. As we talked about last map, Crusher, Search and Destroy was both of these teams a weak point in S&D. They both had a 38% win rate from Dallas. The opposite can be said against Frost Uplink. Both of these teams at a 63-64% win rate. Their best uplink game mode for both of them feeling strong coming into this match.
For me, a lot of times what this comes down to is you usually have a secondary AR player that needs to run an ERAD, right? You can't run 2 K-bars here. Any team that does it rarely sees success. J-Cap has stood out to me as someone that transitions to an ERAD very, very well and makes plays. As I say that, he's 3-1, starting out nicely. We'll see how he continues. But on the other side, who's that guy going to be? Is Josh going to be able to go toe-to-toe?
I can maybe name a handful of maps where I remember J-Cap really having an insane takeover performance so far in Infinite Warfare. Almost every single one, it has been Frost Uplink, right? It's like the one map that's an anomaly for him where he just runs away in the KD department, puts up his most kills. Right now, Dave at 6-0 off the break. Epsilon haven't been able to score off this yet. Considering the start that Epsilon have had, to still have 0 points, I consider that a win for Envy.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, they have to figure out what they want to do, though. They spawn out. They decide to hit mid. They're going to have to wrap all the way back. Dave is at least going to slow down Slasher, and now they're going off spawn. That would have been a big one-on-one gunfight because it would have given them the Trinity rockets, so they don't get a score, and you don't get streaks for Dave. What the hell just happened, Jack?
Epsilon should be at 4-0, and Dave should be fully streaked out. Yep. Instead, it's 0-0. Dave with nothing to show for that 6th streak. Envy with control of the drone. And that's it.
Is that a miscommunication maybe on who's getting drone, or just an unlucky timing maybe where somebody dropped that was going to be in a position to make a play?
Their first play, I think they got a little bit overzealous with trying to move that drone in right away. They had control of ship, play for one more kill, and then go for at least a throw. Instead, they go for a throw. It gets caught and thrown out by Envy. During that reset, Dave's the only one pushed up. He uses a Scarab, which I don't think made any sense.
You mentioned Dave. He just killed everyone. He's on another 4 streak, just lighting it up. We talked about the transition maybe for J-Cap to an ERAD. Another big AR player is going to be Dave, and you can see him making plays with the ERAD. But now, 4 down for Epsilon. Envious taking up map control and getting forward.
I mean, how many times have we talked about main NV4 players who still excel with an ERAD in their hand, right? It's no surprise that ERAD's a very good weapon. They just pick up the pace. Envy are about to score the first points of the map, and they've finally gotten out of their spawn for once.
Yeah, it's the one attack they've had, but they make it count, unlike Epsilon. John waving back and forth, but does end up getting the kill. J-Cap there to trade it. 3 down now for Epsilon, and that means another opportunity to move forward, get these cutoffs. See, that's when you gotta win, though, if you're Cap. You get into ice, you're running into someone kind of sprinting at you.
I'm actually really excited to hear the analysts break down this map, because the start of this has been one of the stranger Frost Uplinks I've seen so far, as now Hawkeye with the drone going to try to just keep us away from Envy. As you can see, Envy retaking mid-map control, holding their hands, looking for trades, as Epsilon try to keep drone possession in their favor. So far, they probably had control of the drone for, what, 80% of this map up to this point?
Certainly. This needs to be points. I don't care if you go for the deep one, but you need to get something. Honestly, the only guy left up in front is Dave, though. Again, Dave in a position to maybe make a play, but Envy gets him behind, flanks the drone carrier, and now a chance maybe for a counter attack.
They had 3 dead with the drone right outside AC. They can go for a high wall run and go for a throw. Instead, it's still 0 points for Epsilon, 4 minutes into this map.
3 down for Epsilon. Only 2 up for Envy, though, to make a play. It's going to be Cap and John trying to do it. The outside wall run, one of the harder ones to hit. The interception, is it there? No, over the top, just barely gets it through. This is about offensive efficiency for Envious, offensive inefficiency for Epsilon.
And now, all things considered, Envy have brought this game to dead even in slang. Right now, it is the exact same amount of kills for both teams at 44. John and crew, though, they wind up wiping out 3, an unfortunate team kill. But it might not matter, as Envy, again, moving the drone forward. They've had 2 opportunities to score. So far, they put 3 points through, and they're looking for another one to close outside 1.
I guess one good thing you could say is, Dave, your primary camo player, on the side of Epsilon's going off, so he's got a significant lead on Slasher, but not enough that he's going to get 2 anyway, so it's just going to come down to still who makes that late game play. But you can guarantee Dave's going to be getting it at least.
Yeah, 10 seconds left. At this point, there's an opportunity for a throw. Not going to happen. Either way, Envy wind up going into the half with a 3-0 lead. Again, a very, very strange start to this map.
And you mentioned, his heavy slaying advantage to Epsilon really early in the game. Envy brought it back to even. I think they've actually got a slight advantage now as they've really started to get grooving. But you only had, 2 total times that you could have scored, really, for Envy, and both times you put it through, right?
Yep.
I can't think of any time they failed a 1-point toss or maybe made a mistake when they were on that, kind of third of the map.
The 2 times that they had a chance, they converted. Ghost there, you see, now up in the series versus Cloud9.
It's like, when you think about it, though, it's like a football game you're watching. It's really low scoring. Defense is doing their job. It all comes down to, it's one of those games, there's no touchdowns, all field goals.
Yep.
And a team's whiffing field goals. It's going to cost you. It's exactly what Epsilon's doing right now. They got to turn it around.
Nice shots from Dave. Making it half with the ERAD. Now swapping to the NV4. It doesn't matter what weapon's in this man's hand. He's going to show up when they need him to. Epsilon now with the drone all the way into ice. Again, in a great spot to go for a score, especially with Dave watching over. Apathy are not going to win that gunfight, my friend. I know you're talented, but that's an NV4.
If they don't score here, surely.
There we go.
All right. Epsilon on the board, making it a 1-possession game, Jack. Just 40 or so seconds into this second half.
Epsilon looks so much better off the breaks. I'm not sure if it's their setup plays they have or just winning gunfights where they need to. Off the start of these sides have just smoked Envy to get drone control. Finally, Envy looked to get some breathing room as they pushed out towards middle.
I think what's scary, though, for Epsilon is, in my opinion, Envy's now gotten to their strong side. If they do get a moment of control, I don't think they let it break like Epsilon. I think they punish.
Okay.
We'll see if they ever get into that position, though. That's going to depend a lot on Epsilon avoiding those 3-4 down situations, which they're currently in.
You see John and Apathy, both of them hanging right around even. Everyone on Envy really pulling their weight. There's nobody in this map you can really blame for the performances on either side. Apathy trying to surge through, cuts down Dave. Drone picked up, Envy clearing the way, and they should have 3 dead on Epsilon. This will be a score. The dunk goes through. 2-possession lead now for the boys in blue.
Now it can get ugly. You've got control.
This is the setup you're talking about, right?
Dunk. Yes, they all have to overextend and wrap through. One actually spawns in the base, but immediately from Envy, no hesitation. They push back. They know they have to deal with a counterattack opportunity. 3 kills go their way. 3 down again. Control right back to Envy.
4 dead, and they're going to push right in towards ship. That'll force the spawns at least towards that back AC side. Epsilon will have a chance to defend. Envy have overdrive, which I think they'll drop down for JCap. Watch JCap go flying around this corner. There it is, dunk on through. 4 points now, inside 2 alone for Envy, as they're now up to a 3-possession lead.
So you at least get a clean sweep if you're Epsilon. You get everybody down so you can breathe for a second,
Yep.
get back to mid-map. Because if Envy, if you keep 1 or 2 players up there, that's just going to continue to happen over and over again. It's a cycle. We've seen Envy do it so many times. But there you go, 3 down again. These are the situations you have 4 down. You have to avoid these because it gives up control, and this is going to lead to points yet again for Envy.
Remember when I talked about the slang was dead even when it was 3-0 Envy? Now every single player on Envious in the green and slang and looking to score because of it. They're running away with map control. Epsilon are being stuffed into the back of their spawn. They've got nothing to show for it so far in side 2.
Yeah.
It was worrying when they couldn't get any points when they were out slaying by, 7-8 kills when Dave was on that streak, and now that they're behind, you can see what happens.
Well, for many teams, the side that Envy is currently on is, I don't want to say heavily favored, but
preferred.
It's preferred. And for many, you can put up a lot of your points there. That's why, with Envy having a lead coming into this side, you had to think they were going to take a W, especially with how efficient they have been. And still, I believe they have scored on every single chance they could.
Envy not taking the foot off the gas pedal, and I can't blame them. When you've got everybody playing like this, everyone's slaying, getting involved in the kills, you might as well rack up the score. Slasher now with camo is 2, just to add insult to injury. 90 seconds left. Epsilon need a flawless final minute and a half.
Think about this, too. Dave, 30 seconds left in the first half. I said he's definitely going to get camo. He had 17 kills.
Wow.
We've now played for 3.5 minutes. He has 23 and still hasn't earned camo. And there's another dunk.
And what's happened? There's been 7 points put up from Envy.
And what's also funny, Slasher, who is significantly behind him as far as progress to camo, he's all gold.
Look at the scoreboard for Envy. There was not a weak link. It's actually one of the more impressive stat lines I've seen so far from this team. Everyone was critiquing John, Apathy, JCap in. Over Epsilon. Welcome back. We went to the upside down. What happened?
13-1 Envy. Under 30 to go. Cap in the entire crew of the boys in blue going off his slasher. Just snapping. What a game from Envy.
Yes.
They beat Epsilon so bad they knocked the sound out.
Yeah, no, there you go. It was on purpose, folks. We see Envy.
That's a new dynamic feature we have here in the arena. If someone's getting crushed.
Yep.
The building might shake. Sound might
4D,
go out.
folks. There it is. Envy take map number 3 in dominating fashion. Doesn't get more one-sided than that. 13-1. And I think we both kind of knew. When Epsilon put up 0 points in the first 2 minutes, when they were just dominating Envy, that map was not going to go their way.
When you have control from that side, you need to get points early and often. And they had the opportunity. They just didn't take advantage of it. And on the opposite side, Envy basically played mistake-free Call of Duty there when you're talking about Frost Uplink. It was perfect from them. And I think that's what stands out to me. And that's what's scary about this team at Champs Time. Last year, that would have been the thing that I think stood out to me the most for Envy. They played smart Call of Duty. They rarely made mistakes, and they punished teams when they did. If they're back in that form, it could be another sweet ride for them this weekend.
Well, we'll see if they can continue right there. We have a statement from Envy. They now have the momentum in the series. They dropped map 1, but Stinson have looked better. But we must say, map 1 was hard point. We're going to another hard point now. It's not going to be, Envy's worst in retaliation again, but we'll have to see what exactly they can do to close out the series. I can promise you they do not want to go to a Game 5.
All right, so we're going to be going to throwback. So what is it? 7-5 is Envy since Dallas. 58% win percentage. For Epsilon, their best.
I'm letting you read that. You're reading the S&D stats. Oh, yeah. You go, for Epsilon, their best. No, yeah, in throwback S&D, Epsilon are great at a 6-1 with an 86% win percentage.
Okay, let's rewind. If we can cut the past 30 seconds of the broadcast, please. Okay, so Envy, throwback, 64% win percentage, 7-4.
Epsilon, abysmal at 2-8, 20%. You went from their best game mode.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it out loud, at least.
You went from you read statistically their best game mode overall in throwback S&D to their worst, which is throwback hardpoint.
I think I was just trying to give European fans a little bit of hope.
And now the door's going to be shut here. Yeah. Oh man, this is a rough draw. Now they've been lucking out so far to this point. I will say for Epsilon, especially with maps 1 and 2, but now the tide is swinging into Envy's favor.
And Envy, most recently when you think about throwback, I believe it's a map they, I think, lost to Optic at the Stage 2 finals, but they had that, I think, one of the better hard points we've had this year against Luminosity. Remember, they're trailing by 50 or so points, like a 225 to 175 game on throwback.
Yep.
They come back, and you don't usually make comebacks like that on throwback, but this Envy team got it done. I'll tell you what, you can count out a lot of teams when they're down big. Do not count out Envy.
No, not at all. It's what Champs is all about. Remember, folks, we're here the next 3 days. We've already been live for 2, but this is the first one where we've been in the venue. I haven't got to hear your opinion. We finally get to come down, show off what's been set up. What are you thinking about this Champs main stage? I mean, look, we have the team logos circulating all around us.
It's effing beautiful.
It really is. The stage is 6 stories tall.
I just can't wait. I know we're going to have people, getting here more and more throughout the weekend. Sunday's going to be bananas. I'm going to lose my voice. I'm going to have 17 energy drinks, and I'll age a year or 2. But I know for us, and
not good.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. It has been a blast this year. It is awesome to be here for the conclusion to the CWL season.
Yep.
Don't worry, we'll be back next year. But for this one, this is awesome, man. It's special. Have we ever had more teams that we think could win?
No.
I know we've said it, but it's crazy how competitive we are right now.
Oh, yeah. No. For all we know, Epsilon could win this tournament. And if they did, while I would be a little bit surprised, I would go, well, there's a reason they got 3rd at Anaheim, right? And have shown up before on the main stage. So they're down, though, in this series, and they do not want to drop to that losers bracket, which is going to be filled with some sharks. Absolutely.
And I think Enable actually mentioned this in one of the Recon episodes. Watch them if you haven't seen them yet. Go to MLG's Twitter. There's 4 out now. But he said, listen, we played all year, right? We've played for so long. Champs is no longer in March. Everybody knows the strategies. to a degree, it comes down to who gets hot on a given day at Champs. What team is going to do it this weekend?
Well, we'll have to find out. Right now, it is Epsilon retaking control of this middle hill. This is game 4 if you're just tuning in. In this best of 5, Envy just need one more map to move on to the winner's bracket. Quarterfinal? Semifinal? That would be quarterfinal, right?
I'm going to call it winners round 2.
Winners round 2. Winners quarterfinals. As they would face the winner of Ghost Gaming and Cloud9, which I believe was Ghost, but we'll have an official update for you here soon.
It looks like, 2-1 advantage right now?
I think so.
In the game 4?
That's been there for a while. So.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's Reflect. All right. Well, we'll get you updated as soon as we can. But for now, back to the action here in the game 4. Envy looking to close out this series against one of EU's best in Epsilon. Apathy and Cap finding a couple of kills. Apathy feeds a team kill to Hockey there.
Again, Epsilon have only won throwback hardpoint twice since Dallas. So it's been quite the amount of time to only have won this map and game mode combination twice. You see Envy off to a strong start, up 40 to 12. Epsilon looking for a pinch. They're now developing from middle map. That outside field lane clear. JCap knows he's just got to watch his line now.
You know, I wonder why they struggle. We talk about Epsilon as a team that plays a little bit weird, a little bit odd. This is much more like an advanced warfare hardcore where you can fly and fly and fly and hit hard points late. It favors kind of heavy slaying teams in that way that maybe early rotations don't help you on a lot of hard points. Do you think maybe that's why it's a map Epsilon can struggle on?
I really can't make any thought on it. There's just some map and game modes that teams can't seem to just figure out, and this might just be the one for Epsilon.
Well, look at JCap right now. Only a 4 streak, but very close to these Trinity Rockets. Get away with your life.
Smart.
Nice job. No need to re-challenge to get full health. Now he's back in the action. And he gets pushed. Brilliant play from Cap. 1 kill now off bombardment. You know, a lesser player there might have challenged.
There's a reason why this man's won 2 rings, right? He doesn't have the best shot in the game. Definitely doesn't have the best reaction time. But you know what? When it comes down to it, he's one of the smartest. He's been a vocal leader for his teams for years. And there makes a play that earns him a streak instead of trying to over-challenge and, you know, play that aggressive style. He falls back, plays his life, and because of it, earns a Trinity Rocket.
It's that big old noggin making plays for him time and time
again.
It
definitely stands out. I can see it from here.
50-point advantage for Envy early in this one. And what's scary, you know, we talk about this map. You do not see big swings like Breakout or Retail. You get to a 100-point lead or something, and you can bury teams quickly. You don't see gigantic swings typically. On occasion, yes, but if you're Epsilon, man, you've got to keep this in that 30 to 50-point range. You have to.
I think this is kind of the threshold right here, right? 50 seconds. Baseball, regarded as a money hill. Epsilon are set up for this hard point. We talk about money hills. It's basically a hard point where if you get an early setup, if you get the kills while moving towards that area of the map, you should get a majority of those 60 seconds. Epsilon are showing that right now. Envy do get that close blue top spawn, so you're going to see these red arrows reshift their focus towards the top side of your map. It looks like they'll do just that. That 50-second lead now down to just 20.
Here's a Trinity. This is why you don't give up streaks early. JCap, 2 kills behind it, and there's the break and the spawn out. So it's great when you break from blue, right? Because you don't usually get the flood if you're the opposite team. You get pushed, you get spawned out.
So look at the story we just told on this broadcast, Maven. Earlier, JCap playing his life, staying alive, earning that Trinity Rocket to now use in a scenario like this where his team is starting to fall behind, their lead diminishing. He uses it, helps his team regain control of the hard point, and now that 50-second lead will hold strong as hell because of that score streak.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of keys to victory in hard point, but one of the main ones for me is do not give up early streaks. Because if you do, I mean, each one of those you can look at as almost like making up for a mistake.
Yep.
You know, you don't get the early control of the hard point. Guess what? The mistake on Envy's part, they're allowed to make up with it due to JCap's streak, and they've now got the lead up to 60 as we are in our second set of rotations.
During stage 2 pool play, Envy was 8-1 in hardpoint. They're looking like they are back in form here against Epsilon. Yes, they did drop map number 1, but a lot of that came due in part to the slaying prowess that was brought out, especially by Vortex. Here, a quiet map from him. Dave now double negative as well. You need those two to step up big time if Epsilon want to have any chance.
Apathy mid-map, trying to win a tough gunfight there, and Top Ticket able to do it as Josh will drop. 2 kills though. Go to the favor Epsilon. Now let's take a look at the minimap. You know, look at the top left. We're going to Barn next. You see setup, the spawn controlled by Epsilon. If you're going to come back in this game, your 2 hard points, you got to do it, Barn and baseball field. We got a ways to go to baseball. You have got to hold the line here. You have got to be dominant inside Barn.
Well, let's see if they can do just that. Dave with a kill. J-Cap with 2 of his own, though. Puts it into a 2-on-2. Nearly turns and burns on a Hawkeye there. Envy have an opportunity here to break on in, but Epsilon with that close field spawn might just hold the door.
So far,
maybe not.
They're holding. But now another collapse.
Maybe not.
There's a close spot at lemon that's going to give Envy a chance. But 2 drop, third and Slasher will fall. Epsilon continue to hold. And if they can get these final 25 seconds, you're right back in this game.
It looked great for Envy there. They get the first 2 kills, but as they push on through some great movement by a member of Epsilon, they keep hovering in the air. They use those awkward sight lines where Envy, who are a very slide-heavy retake team, and what I mean by that is they're a team that gets to a door. John and Apathy will slide on through, try to hip-fire the player close. When they're up above him in the air, it's an awkward gunfight, and Epsilon exposed that there, thankfully for Envy. Even though they don't get a ton of time, they get the final 15 seconds of scrap to rebuild their lead.
And that, I think that's the definition of why this map is hard to come back on, because they were down, what, 60? That felt like a good hold for Epsilon, didn't it? The lead didn't change a whole lot. I mean, Envy's still in control. At one of these points, you're going to need a solid 40, 50-point hold. Maybe baseball be where it happens. This time you don't have streaks, but let's look at it. John, 200 off Trinity Rockets. Will they have another? They very well might. Imagine this, if they give up streaks at the worst time yet again, so you have it to work with as you get over to baseball.
Yeah, and John just picks up a weapon as well. That was what I was going to bring up. He was running out of ammo. Quick challenge here. No! Vortex cuts him down. 60-second lead still for Envy, though, as they continue to pull away.
It's a very big kill. You don't have that tool to work with if you're Envy. And now, with 10 seconds left, maybe they can break on through. A couple kills going to Epsilon. Down 70 points in this one, Jack.
And I believe that reaction is for our Bravo stage, where Ghost Gaming continue to impress. I think the hype from Lacefield tells a story there.
Well, I mean, big story there, right? Lacefield dropped from Cloud9. How's that for sweet revenge?
Oh, it doesn't get better than that. On the Champs main stage, he gets the job done. That match, you'll hear updates for and how that plays into the bracket in a little bit. But for now, refocusing our attention to this Envy Epsilon Game 4. If you are switching on over, Envy up in the series, up 2-1, now up in Game 4 as well.
We kept harping on it. You need that flawless hold here at baseball. This is where you're going to get it done. Scarab out. Can he hit the camo player? The Scarab explodes right before he gets through. Slasher now the opportunity to make a big play. He only gets one, but the flood is still there. Where's the final trade go? To Apathy. Last man standing. Pops his teammates at blue. That, for me, is likely the dagger in this game.
Yeah, and it's funny. You said, can he hit the camo player? The camo player he hit was his teammate, Dave. The Scarab blows up. Team kills their own camo player. And just like that, Envy hold again. Now up to a 70-second lead, on the verge of closing out this series to move on to the winners round 2 again, where they'll now face Ghost Gaming if they do so.
Oh, this would be a spectacular, spectacular comeback. Again, similar to what we saw in Envy, due to LG and Epsilon. Maybe give Envy a little bit of that pain. No one racking up time right now. Not going to be an issue, I don't think, because there's plenty of time left on the play clock.
Challenging Hawkeye, some nice reaction time and shots there. John, we know, was our CWL Championship MVP last year. After the incredible performance he put on, the clutch factor was always there, it seemed, and he was consistent in the respawn game modes. Right now, this is the stuff they need from him every single time. He may not be getting a ton of time, but guess what? J-Cap's there to help out. If John's playing well, Cap is more than happy to sit in that hard point to make sure his team gets a W.
And I know group statistics aren't the most important thing when you talk about KD, but as good as Slasher was, John was right there with him, buddy.
Yep.
He played spectacular.
All 3 getting involved in the slaying.
Can we get to John, please?
Yeah, I think
he's got 6 in a row.
Reactive armor.
Runs into reactive, but he just exploded there. Reactive now popped by Apathy. 15 seconds needed.
This should do it.
Envious.
Nothing flashy, nothing too crazy. But this is where Envy are at their best. They're within 9 seconds of taking this series in the rematch between Josh and Envy on a Champs main stage. It's Envy taking it yet again, this time 250 to 144.
It's something about Champs time for this team. They come alive when the most money's on the line. What a great performance here in Winners Round 1, and I think for me, convincingly, this looks like a team that could win it all.
There's a reason why at those major events like Anaheim, we say wake-up call for teams. And I think Envy not only had their wake-up call, but they have vastly improved since that top 24 placing. They take that series and make it look damn easy in games 3 and 4. They brush off that rough map one, and it's great to see from these veteran leaders on that squad.
When I talked to Cap, this is before, I can't remember if it was stage 2, I think it was right after Anaheim, before we did Hot Mic episode.
Yeah.
He said, it's like we lost faith and trust in each other, and he's like, it's painful. He's like, these guys are like brothers, we play together so much, it's like we just don't trust each other anymore. And just like that, you get a victory, or you start winning, you start looking good, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I remember how good you are, I remember the plays you can make, and here they are, man, all 4 playing at championship level.
Yo, thank you guys for watching this. I appreciate it. All the likes and everything. I'll make a live stream very soon. I'll play some zombies, and peace out, guys.